All right, diving into a topic near and dear to your heart today, the fall feasts. And you've gone deep, giving us everything from biblical passages to craft ideas. Someone's ready to celebrate.
Well, it's more than just the win with these feasts, isn't it? Your sources suggest a real desire to understand the why.
You hit the nail on the head. Consider this your guide to not just the what of the fall feasts, but the why. They resonate so deeply. We're talking harvest celebrations, ancient traditions, even some delicious treats along the way. You ready to unpack this?
Let's do it.
One thing that jumps out from your materials is this beautiful tapestry of 5 themes: harvest, gratitude, creation, reflection, and faith. They're woven throughout these celebrations, giving us this incredible richness to explore.
And it highlights how these feasts invite us to connect with rhythms bigger than ourselves, the rhythms of nature, the rhythms of the heart, and the rhythm of faith, all intertwined.
Speaking of rhythms, there's this line from Psalm 107.1 that feels like the heartbeat of this entire season. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. It's powerful, isn't it?
Absolutely. We see this reflected in the natural world seasons of dormancy and abundance and in our own lives. We experience those highs and lows, those moments of joy and challenge, yet throughout it all, there's this constant God's love endures. These feasts remind us of that enduring presence.
I love how you connect that to our own experiences. It makes those ancient traditions feel incredibly relevant, even today. And speaking of powerful symbols, we can't forget the shofar, that unmistakable sound that echoes throughout this season. What is it about that sound, that call, that feels so connected to change and new beginnings?
Imagine this piercing sound, cutting through the noise of daily life, jolting you awake. That's the shofar, a ram's horn, and its symbolism is meant to awaken the soul.
You've piqued my curiosity. The sources highlight 3 key aspects of the shofar's meaning: repentance, renewal, and a celebration of creation. Let's break those down, starting with repentance. What does that look and feel like in this context?
It's not so much about dwelling on past mistakes, but more about acknowledging where we might have strayed from our values, from our connection to something larger than ourselves. It's about making space for course correction.
I see. So it's less about dwelling in guilt and more about recognizing where we might need to realign as we head into this new season. It's interesting how this connects to Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It's a time of deep introspection, isn't it?
Exactly. Yom Kippur encourages us to confront those areas where we might be holding ourselves back and seek a sense of spiritual cleansing. It's a time for self reflection, seeking forgiveness, and ultimately embracing the possibility of a fresh start.
It's like hitting the refresh button, clearing the cache to make room for something new. And speaking of new beginnings, how does the shofar symbolize renewal?
Just as the shofar's blast can abruptly end a period of silence, it also marks the start of something new. Think of it as a wake up call to the possibilities that lie ahead. What in your life needs a wake up call? What's ready for a fresh start? The shofar asks us to consider these things.
Wow, that really puts things into perspective. It's
Exactly.
not just about the sound itself, but the invitation it represents.
And then there's that third aspect of the shofar's meaning, celebrating creation.
Okay, so I'm still wrapping my head around this one.
Okay.
Help me connect the dots.
Sure.
How does a ram's horn become a celebration of creation?
Well, think about it. In ancient times, horns were blown to herald important events, victories, even the presence of royalty.
Right.
So the shofar's blast during the season can be seen as a proclamation of God as creator, a powerful recognition of his majesty and ongoing presence in the world.
So it's like we're joining in this cosmic fanfare, adding our voices to the grand symphony of creation every time we hear that sound.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
yeah.
It reminds us that we're part of something so much bigger than ourselves. And that brings us to a fascinating aspect of your source materials: the tangible ways you can connect with these fall feast themes.
Yeah.
You've provided some wonderful examples of crafts and even recipes.
Yeah.
I love that you've included these. It's like faith expressed through creativity.
Absolutely. It's about taking those deep, sometimes abstract ideas and grounding them in physical form.
hmm
And these crafts do just that.
Let's start with the gratitude jar.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
classic for a reason, right?
It is, and it connects beautifully to Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah.
During Sukkot, people built temporary shelters, or Sukkot, as reminders of God's provision during their journey through the wilderness.
I see. So the gratitude jar becomes like a modern day sukkah, a tangible reminder of the blessings we've received,
Yes,
a testament to God's provision in our own lives.
yes. And then we have the miniature Sukkah craft, a wonderful activity for children and adults alike.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
It's amazing how such a simple craft can hold so much meaning.
Isn't it? Building a miniature sukkah provides a tangible visual reminder that our true dwelling place is not found in material possessions, but in our relationship with God.
And speaking of material possessions, let's not forget the delicious side of fall. You've even included some kosher conscious recipes, which is fantastic.
Right.
Who knew celebrating your faith could be so delicious?
Food plays such an integral role in so many of these celebrations.
Right.
It's about nourishment for both body and soul.
For sure. And what better way to celebrate the sweetness of the harvest than with a classic like caramel apple slices?
Oh, yeah. The recipes you've shared all highlight the bounty of the season and become these beautiful expressions of gratitude and generosity.
Mhm.
Imagine sharing these treats with loved ones, the aromas filling your home, laughter shared around the table.
Yeah,
Food has this wonderful way of bringing people together.
I completely agree. It's about creating those moments of connection and shared experience.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sold.
okay.
But with all these incredible ideas, from deep introspection to creative expression to delicious recipes, where on earth do we even begin? It feels like a lot to take in.
It's true, it can feel overwhelming,
Yeah.
but the beauty is that you don't have to do everything at once.
Okay.
The key is intentionality.
Intentionality. I like that. So how can we approach these feasts with intentionality, especially when, life gets so busy?
Well, your source material actually provides a helpful framework in its section on setting intentions.
Okay.
And it boils down to three simple steps: reflect, choose, and act.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Break it down for us.
So, the first step, reflection, encourages us to look back on the past year with a discerning but grateful heart.
Okay.
The source even provides some guiding questions.
Yeah.
What have you learned? Where have you stumbled? How have you grown? Where have you seen God's hand at work even in the midst of challenges?
So it's about taking inventory, recognizing both the triumphs and the trials that have shaped us.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing our own unique journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Then comes the choose step.
Yeah.
Based on your reflections, choose one area where you feel called to align yourself with those core themes we've discussed. Maybe it's cultivating deeper gratitude,
Right.
practicing generosity, or embracing those shofar moments that call for renewal and change.
Yeah.
Choose a theme that resonates with where you are right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about focusing our energy, choosing a specific path rather than getting overwhelmed by trying to do it all.
Exactly. And that takes us to the final step.
Yeah.
Act. This is where we take those intentions and turn them into tangible expressions. And
Right.
it doesn't have to be anything grand or overwhelming.
Yeah.
Start small.
Okay.
Maybe you create your own gratitude jar, try out one of those delicious kosher recipes, or simply commit to spending a few moments each day appreciating the beauty of the natural world.
Yeah.
Small, consistent actions can lead to profound shifts.
It's about bringing these ancient traditions to life in a way that feels authentic and meaningful for us today.
That's the heart of it.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. Thank you so much for taking us on this journey through the fall feasts.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
It's not just about the dates on the calendar, but about connecting with these deeper rhythms of gratitude, reflection, and renewal.
Absolutely.
And for you listening, as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. We've talked a lot about the shofar's call, that wake-up call to attention. But what if, this season, we become the trumpets? How can our lives sound out a message of hope, generosity, and renewal to the world around us? Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.